Hey everyone, this is John from TechAdvisor, and I'm here at Lenovo's stand at CES 2020 with the ThinkPad X1 Fold. And if the name doesn't give it away, this is the first proper, real, foldable PC actually hitting the market in 2020. Let's take a proper look. Okay, right, yeah, so this is the ThinkPad X1 Fold. It's not totally new. Lenovo basically teased this in 2019. They revealed they were working on a folding device. But this is the first time they're revealing more concrete specs details and a price and actually even a release window. So release window, we don't have a date, but it's going to hit the market in mid-2020. It's going to cost $2,500. Don't know pricing for other markets, but you can probably guess based on that. It's not cheap, but it was never going to be. It's a foldable and it's hella cool. It's a ThinkPad, so in case you don't know, that's basically Lenovo's business line. This isn't being pushed to consumers under the Yoga brand. This is really more looking at a business audience. But that actually makes sense for a few reasons. One is that ThinkPads are pretty well known for their durability. Foldable devices are not. Not naming any names, but some foldables have hit the market and not really worked super well. And Lenovo were really keen to make sure that whatever they put out, people could trust that it was going to last, it was going to work, and it wasn't going to break, and that you could kind of throw it around a little bit. So they figured going with the ThinkPad branding and letting the ThinkPad team build it would basically mean that would work better. So there's sort of carbon fiber inlaid into the body. There's like 4 different layers beneath the screen that make it all work in a way that's sturdy. That means you can sort of push down on it. You can like push in on the hinge as you close it and sort of do that without really worrying too much. You can throw it around a little bit, basically. Let's talk about the hinge. So Lenovo also owns Motorola. Motorola, obviously the Razr phone coming out at some point later this year. That has a really clever hinge design, which basically pushes the screen itself down so it gets a really like deep round fold rather than a sharp fold, so you don't get the crease in the middle of the screen like some other foldables do. You can't really see very easily on this because the whole hinge is covered up, which again is a nice durability thing. It blocks anything getting in. But essentially the same process is going on here. It's not the exact same hinge design, but the same kind of thinking is there. As you do that, the screen is actually being sort of pushed in, so it will go right down into the body and get a much deeper bend, so you won't get a crease when it's straight out. You're pretty hard pushed to actually notice any sort of crease in the middle while the tablet is like this, which is really great. But there's other little touches that make sense for it, like the foldable form factor. So you'll notice there's this sort of nice real leather cover that's built into the tablet. You can't take that off. You'll see it's got this like nice space here where there's the sort of, you can see the main body, light and reflective. If I then fold it out, there we go, you'll see that actually moves across, which is really nice. You get this little touch as it then moves to cover the whole thing as you move into the foldable. Obviously that's also then part of what's protecting the hinge as you open and close it. But it's also like a nice space for you to take your pen, which slots in there, so that now, while I've got it in tablet mode, the pen's in a nice convenient point to use. Little touches like that just make sense. There's also a little hinge flap here, so you can sort of rest the tablet down in a nice, easy way, either portrait or landscape. Does it work for landscape? Yeah, there we go. I just didn't trust it enough. So that works portrait or landscape, and there's a nice little red accent to it. Again, it's a ThinkPad, so you're going to get all these little like red touches dotted around. I don't know if you can see a sort of red flexible OLED label there and half the X there. And then so one of the other little like nice convenient touches they've got is this little keyboard, which comes with it when you buy it. All of this is included. So this is like a full set that you get. This can sort of attach magnetically to the body. And one really nice thing is that then you can fold it in, which means now you might see that there's no gap anymore when you fold it up. The keyboard is perfectly designed to just sit in that nice space. And the keyboard is actually charging now. So the keyboard is wirelessly charging from the main computer. Now it's in the closed case, so the keyboard won't run out of battery, which is another little smart touch to make this really feel like you don't have to think about the new form factor too much. It will just work, it'll just do what you want, everything will stay charged, everything will function just like you want it to. That's there in software too. Again, this is a ThinkPad, so it's for the business line. So this is actually running Windows 10 Pro, which means there's a lot of extra sort of functionality stuff, very useful for productivity tools. There's some little customizations, like if we tap that, you get this sort of pane option, which basically lets you sort of pick between having screen apps fill the whole screen or automatically snap to the 2 sides. If you then turn it portrait, they'll snap to the top and bottom. which is really simple and easy, and again, just trying to make the most of the form factor. And yeah, and then the final thing is just the standard sort of laptop worry, which is ports, connectivity, things like that. Is this going to skimp on that? And basically, no, you're not going to get an HDMI port or anything like that, but there's two separate USB-C ports, one there and one there, so whichever way you have it, there'll be one on the top and one on the side, and they're used for charging as well. There's also 4G as standard and a 5G option as well. No doubt that will cost a little bit more. But yeah, it's another way that this will basically become, the idea is this will be the one device you carry around. It will be your computer, it will be your tablet. Because of the connectivity, it can replace some of the stuff you use your phone for, all of that kind of thing. Just this one thing, folds up into a nice, handy, grippy form factor, and looks really cool. Yeah, I mean, foldable PCs are gonna be a big thing in the next few years, that's a given. It's really reassuring that the first one to hit the market looks this good, looks this sturdy, looks this safe, looks like it's going to work and last, and that's not something you can say about every foldable around right now. Yes, this is mostly targeted at businesses, but consumers will be able to buy it, and I think quite a few are going to want to when it comes out later in the year. Stay tuned to the TechAdvisor channel, like and subscribe, you know the drill. We're going to be covering a lot more at CES this week, so keep an eye out for everything else we've got on the way.